statistics, and I'm not going to go through each and every one of them, but some of them are pretty startling. Every 10 seconds in the United States, somebody reports child abuse. Every 10 seconds. Specifically here in Pennsylvania, 1 out of every 1,000 children has been reported as a victim of child abuse. 9 out of 1,000 cases of reported child abuse were substantiated. Substantiated meaning that there was a full investigation by the Department of Public Welfare. That's the agency in our state charged with investigation of child abuse reports. So substantiated means there was some validity, there were some physical markings of a non-accidental nature, a fall, a bruise, a burn, broken bones, that kind of thing. And the federal government passed the Child Abuse Protection Treatment Act. Okay, we call it CAPTA, and it's reauthorized periodically. That sets the stage, the floor, if you will, the minimum requirements that all states have to follow when they have individualized mandatory reporting laws in their states. Okay, a state could actually not have a mandatory child abuse reporting law, but then they wouldn't get the federal funds tied to the 1967 Act. So there's actually, when you talk about policy considerations, there's a federal overlay of financing to the states that requires our localities to have these laws. So as I indicated here in Pennsylvania, the Department of Public Welfare is responsible. So DPW is responsible for investigating, reporting allegations of child abuse. Narrow in a little bit and find out what really happened at Penn State University. Now the grand jury issue, it was a statewide grand jury, issued a 23-page report about the victims and the allegations. It was very detailed, it was very egregious in its account. After the report, 40 child abuse charges were filed against Jerry Sandusky, the former assistant football coach at Penn State University. We all know and love Joe Pa. Okay. The conflicting reports were that he actually received an eyewitness account of the events that allegedly took place in the shower. Okay. The unwelcome sexual advance between Sandusky and this juvenile victim. Okay. An eyewitness account. Somebody comes to you and says, I saw this with my own eyes. Grand jury says that he then told his boss. Right? Tim Curley moves up the ladder to Mr. Schultz. This is the university vice president. Okay. They didn't do anything. It's Curley and Schultz that the grand jury decided they failed to report. They had an obligation under the law. Okay. And so under section 6319, remember when I said penalties to report, okay, they've been deemed to have violated the reporting obligations and are therefore liable, at least under section 6319, and a host of other statutes as well. I was at a training earlier this week, a CLE, at Dauphin County Bar Association, and the attorney for Victim 4 was there, and he talked about how difficult it's been to get information on the investigation pertaining to the other victims so that he can pursue his claim on behalf of his clients. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get to 6319, penalties to report, but there are also some other penalties under the law.